Hello, hello, hello. We are back. Not with happy faces though. We will try and turn that frown upside down. Right, let's get straight into it, lads. Uh, Team sheets came out, an unchanged side for Newcastle. A few changes for Leicester. Few new faces there as well. Young lads brought in who did pretty well. Thomas and Drewsby Hall did pretty well. Um, I'm going to first go with a little video before I walk you through the game. I just going to we'll go for a little video from these two guys you might know, Chris and Pete. And I think they either bought a pub or they bought a dog. I can't figure it out. But spoiler alert,
Or just a sign.
yeah, or a sign. Spoiler alert, they had to put the dog down at the end of the day. But that's for later in the show. Here is the happy couple.
Yep, go. Well, boys, we're here, King Power Stadium. Myself and Chris finally got to meet up and actually have a beer this time or two. Been a really, really fantastic day. But look, the lineups are out. No change for Newcastle. One change, I think, for Leicester. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Feeling more positive. I know on loads of markets that tonight I was looking at 1-1, but I'm starting to feel the win now. I think Jamie Vardy being out's a massive plus for us. He's on the bench. Obviously, Iosi Perez nowhere to be seen, which is good. We know what ex-players are like for scoring against us. But yeah, Patson Daka up front, bit of an unknown quantity, but I'd much rather play against him than Jamie Vardy, put it that way.
100%. Speaking to a lot of the Leicester fans, some of them that I know, work with and various other things that I bumped into, they're not confident today at all about the game. They're really not, and I think that will breed our confidence. You'll be able to see the fans all lining up, ready to go into the ground. The atmosphere's been really good. Lots of singing, lots of chanting. I imagine it's going to be 10 times more when we get into the ground. Really looking forward to it. Any last thoughts, Chris?
Come on, Newcastle!
Away the loaded.
They're all happy
Well,
faces.
that went fucking well, didn't it?
It did. Right, we got off to.
I think the most notorious comment there was who was Patson Daka by Chris.
I know, yeah. I'm so glad we're playing against him and not Vardy. Yeah, well done, Chris. Anyway,
So we're blaming Chris, are we? Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, no one's hiring as a scout anytime soon, put it that way.
Yeah. He's not going to be hooked up by the FA, that's for sure.
The game started off. Evans went off after about 2 minutes. So immediately I was thinking, happy days. This happened before. Their defense has changed. It'll be good for us today. Then some early attacks by us were doing okay at the start. Some free kicks by Leicester. Then the whole penalty incident, and it wasn't a penalty. There was this stupid kick out first of all, and the Lascelles passed to Shelby, and then Madison just jumped over Lascelles' leg and went down, dived, and got a penalty. And of course, Tillemans influenced the ref as well by stopping play and demanding the penalty, and the ref listened. Okay, it did go to VAR, but we got nothing from that. We'll go back. We'll tackle that in a few minutes as well. Then, of course, later on the match went to 2-0 Madison to Barnes to Daka, and for me at that stage, this is the second half. It was game over. I didn't think we were going to come back from a 2-0. Then, of course, we brought in some subs in the shape of Murphy and Fraser. We kind of upped the pace a bit, and downhill from there. They doubled up on ASM. The back pass situation as well, if you remember that. Kasanya back to Schmeichel, and Schmeichel just cleared off the line. That would have been 2-1. That would have kept us in the game then. But then Tillemans 3-0, Madison 4-0, game over. For me, only player I could who I'd give a man of the match if I was to give it a Newcastle man of the match, I'd give it to Miggy for his first half. He was all over the place, buzzing like a bee, but we had to take him off it to try and freshen up. But bad day at the office. Who wants to go first?
Got him, Matt.
Where do you start? I suppose whether luckily or unluckily, I missed probably about 20, 25 minutes of the first half because I was stuck getting out of work. But But if you watch the show back from Friday, Loaded Mag from Friday, I called out James Maddison very early in Mag on Friday, and I said, he loves playing against us. Don't do nothing stupid at the back. Don't give no easy fouls away, because he will play on that and he will hurt us. And sure enough, lad who hasn't done anything really all season comes to life, scores a goal. Was never a penalty in the month of Sundays, but at the end of the day, Lascelles was stupid enough to leave his leg trailing. So, we'll talk about VAR in a minute, but again, it's another defensive woe piece for me. Second half, I was home for. I watched that. We were woeful. You can't really blame Wilson. Nothing for him to work with. Willock was a passenger that we cannot afford to have. Nothing defensively. Nothing attack-wise. Need to move him out. We'd have been better with Hayden in there. Somebody that could get a tackle in. We got absolutely nothing. ASM called it Friday, and I said he either needs to be benched, or if he doesn't improve the final third of the game, I'd sell him. And I stand by that. He was brutal today. Too many times trying to take on the players. No final ball. 2 players around him. It's just horseshit. He needs to either get off, do something else, try something else. It's just not working. Same with Willock. No end. Was shocking today, I thought. As for the back four, there's been a couple of tweets today that I've seen people around on, which was, Fernandez and Clark should have been playing. We were talking about it coming on air. Would Clark have done any worse in that back four today? Probably not, in my view. The problem we've got is we cannot play out from the back because we don't have the fucking players to do it. So stop doing it. Don't play out from the back. It doesn't work. If you've got the players to play out from the back, you can do it. Shaw can play a ball when he wants to, but not from the back of defence. He'd be better in front of a 4 or in front of a 3. We'd be better to go with a 3 at times. So, yeah, look, do you blame the manager? No, not really. Did we seem to have a bit of a game plan for B? It was a bit lackluster. I think it wasn't a 4-0 result, put it that way. I think we made a very shoddy Leicester look very good in the second half. Our second half defending was schoolboy. And I put up on Twitter earlier on, championship team, championship players. And that's the way it is, lads. I fear for the next 3 games. It doesn't bode well for where we're at. But, yeah, pretty bad. But there are some players that really need a good look at themselves. And like I say, like ASM and Willock, it's not working. It's a free hit really against City, Liverpool, and Man United. So take ASM out, take Willock out, get Hayden in there, and I would I would take Lascelles out. Unfortunately, I know I gave him a little bit of credit the other week when he did have a good game, but unfortunately, it looked like a one-hit wonder, a bit like Chesney Hawkes. He's reverted to type and gone back down the top 40.
Sing a bit of it, Martin.
The thing is, Lascelles isn't the one and only, though, is he?
No, he's not the one and only. There's another 3. To be fair, and Richie, you called it. I felt like you. I did feel a bit sorry for Jamal Lewis today. Some of the runs he made, and he tried to get in behind ASM, and ASM just does his own thing, and we don't have that. We don't have that ability in the team, and we can't play like that with the current players we've got. One man trying to do it all is not going to fucking work. Simple as. So, at the minute for me, St. Maximum is not only is he a liability, but he's also an expense that we cannot have. So, as Pete says there on the questions, second half garbage, absolutely, and those boys were there. The only other thing I said, and I've never really gone mad critical over every player, but I tell you what, the 3,500 that were down at Leicester today, the club should do something about refunding that money, because the performance from that team in the second half was absolutely brutal. And the 3,500 that kept on singing right the way through that and didn't bother leaving early. Do you know what? We've got the best fans in the world. It's a shame we haven't got the players to back that up yet. I felt dead sorry for them. Club should do something for them.
Yeah, good call, Martin. One thing you said that I was going to come back on there is that you said the next 3 are a free hit. I disagree. I said the next 2 are a free hit because I think we can get something at Man United, and especially the news that's coming out about the COVID scare, and I know the lads mentioned it in their video later on as well. But I think we can get something in the Man United game. Maybe it's because Man United and my eyes always light up when they come when we're playing them.
Guarantee
I always want
Ronaldo scoring 2 in that game, does.
It's always we always play them at Christmas. It's and of course anyone my family they all support Man United. So come on, Newcastle in that one. Anyway, Richie, over to you. Your thoughts.
Well, to just follow on what you just said there, but the next 3, I agree with you, Daz. I had the unfortunate situation of actually while cooking the tea last night to watch Man United v Norwich. Dear me, seriously,
right?
That was. Oh, do you know what? You're right. We could possibly get something off Man because they were woeful last night. To be fair, it wouldn't surprise me with the way that we're playing and the way that Man United go. It'll probably be a 1-0 either way. It'll be like how we played against Burnley. It'll be a dogfight possibly, and hopefully we've got players who can be more up for a dogfight. But saying that after today's performance, it didn't look as though any of the team had some fighting. To be fair. I don't know. I felt as though I cursed the team a bit because I sent a text message in our WhatsApp chat after around 10 minutes. I said, that was a decent start. Yeah. And it just, from there, it just went downhill, didn't it? And it was like, I don't know. I got the feeling it was like, as Martin mentioned, I noticed it quite a few times. Every time the ball was going to ASM, Jamal Lewis was doing everything to try and get an overlap and get to the fullback because bear in mind, Castagna had already been booked in the first 10 minutes. That he was right for targeting, and every single time ASM got the ball, he tried to do something himself, and he was always cutting inside. Try and go down the flank yourself, or give it to the overload for Lewis to go in. Lewis has got some pace as well. With Castagna on the booking, it was right for targeting. It was a potential weakness, and I don't know. It's like, we've given him a yellow card. Well, he's got the lurgy. We'll just keep away from him, type of thing. It was just. I don't know. It was just nonsensical in the attack and build up. It seemed to get to ASM, Miggy, Big Joe, Shelby, and then it just never went any farther forward. Wilson was isolated. He had no support whatsoever. There's a couple of times where the ball was up, pumped up to him, and he did well to try and compete with whoever. But he never really had a meaningful touch on the ball the whole entire 90 minutes. You might as well have took a booking in the Burnley game and missed that one if that's the way we're going to play football. You'd have had his suspension that's hanging over his head at the moment lifted, because he might as well have been. He had nothing. He didn't even have scraps to feed on today, Wilson. Unfortunately, I think ASM. I mentioned it the other day about he's got this temperamental head on the minute where if it's not going for him, that's it. He downs tools, and it seems to be rubbing off on a few of the players as well. I thought Willock was, as Martin said before, we touched on it before the show. Willock was a passenger today, and unfortunately, the way he's been this season, it's starting to look as though his deal's like the Kennedy that we had a few years ago. Mm-hmm. He had a decent, first loan spell, and then afterwards he's just bang average, and you can see why he couldn't get in the Arsenal team. He's not.
You can also see why Arsenal were happy to let him go for 25 million.
Yeah, to be fair, he's not. Off what we're seeing this season, he's nowhere near worth 25 million.
But he's playing in a different position as well, though, Rich. And look, I wouldn't write him off that quickly. Give him. No,
I didn't say I was writing him off. Do you know what I mean? Because I still believe there's a player in there. We've seen the player in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's why.
Showing it. He's a good enough player to be able to pull other players around him and pull their socks up.
No, I agree. I don't know whether he feels as though he's playing too deep or he wants to be further forward, but then someone else is in his role taking that. I don't know, but he's nowhere near. He's not. He doesn't even be making those runs like he was last year. Even a player as a box to box midfielder and not possibly as forward like he was last year. you can still make those runs into the box as a box-to-box midfielder. And he just doesn't seem to be wanting to make those runs. You see him getting to the edge of the box when he's got the ball himself. And he ended up, like today, in the second half, he got the ball, and the first thing he did was, there was potentially a nice little cute 1-2 to do where he got it in the box, but he decided to take a left foot shot, and that went just over the bar. It was more of a, I suppose, like a possible confidence building shot. You know what I mean? He's thinking like, oh, I've progressed a little bit this game because I've actually got involved. I had a shot on target, because he hasn't had many of them this year either, unfortunately. Oh. Defensively, what is Fede Fernandez going to do to get that start? He came in against Norwich when we went out at 10 men, and we looked solid as anything. We really did. To play against 11 men for 80 odd minutes, and one lack of concentration and a good finish by Pukki against Norwich. We possibly could have got our first win there. But as soon as Lascelles comes back, his suspension's lifted. Fede, who's probably played his best game all season, is just automatically put straight onto the bench because it's Lascelles. And yes, Lascelles had a decent game, as Martin mentioned the other week. Martin put his hands up. He said, when he had that good game, he had that good game. And you admit it, Mart. But the problem is, he's shite the majority of the time. And that's the issue. We can't be carrying passengers. And the problem with him being the club captain, he's always going to be the first name on that team sheet. And that shouldn't be the case. No. Our best two centre-halves, we're going to play with a four at the back, flat back four, in my opinion, at this moment in time, is Shaw and Fernandez. Hands down. When they played against Norwich, they looked really good at those, sort of paired them solid. And I just think that, Martin's right. With the players we've got at this moment in time, and yes, a lot of defenders want to play out from the back. We cannot play out with the back with this back line. There's only Shaw who can carry your ball out. Today, he tried to do it, and he didn't look as naturally. It felt as though he was trying to force the issue because there was nothing happening in front of him, really. He was thinking, I'll take it on my own initiative to try and do something here. And then he would get caught out of position. Manquillo gave the ball away in a few different positions. When Lewis got booked in the first half, the reason why he got booked and getting slow to the ball was because he was coming across to cover for Lascelles, who'd been dragged across again, and then he had to give the free kick away and got carded for it. So that positional sense by who's meant to be your captain, who's meant to be the leader on the pitch, and he's making far too many mistakes. I think was it in the first 3 minutes that Lascelles tried to do a Shaw and actually carry the ball. Martin, you might have missed this, but Daz, you'll probably remember it. I think it was in the first 3 minutes, he got the ball and tried to carry it out. And he got pressed so much, and he's thinking, oh shit, and his arse just went, and he lost the ball straight away. And you think,
I can't remember, to tell you the truth.
No, it was in about the second or third minute. He came out towards the left, and he was going to carry the ball out and looked quick, and he was thinking, and I could just see what was going to happen, and it did. He just lost it straight away, and I thought it's going to be a bad omen on this.
And that was in our positive 10 minutes, Richie.
To be fair, that was probably the one negative thing. But
the bigger thing for me, Rich, and again, I know I heap, I dump on Lascelles a lot, but as you guys said, when that penalty happened, Maddison went over, right? It was a fucking dive. End of story, right? Bar fucked up. Referee, bad call. Everything else in it. Tielemans stops play. Everything else. When I watched that highlights back, obviously you guys were texting whatever. I was coming home from work. I didn't see Lascelles at all or any of the back four fucking protest that decision. I didn't see Lascelles go up and start getting a finger in the face of the referee and even try and challenge it. Why not?
I don't know, but I tell you what. Yes, I thought he was very, very harsh, and I think if you look at the replays, right, Lascelles had planted his foot even before Maddison was past him, and you can see Maddison going down before, and he literally looks for the touch, and it was the fact that Tielemans got the ball, literally stopped it, pointed to it straight away, I was just. But then all you saw was when it cut back after the VAR and looked at it. Apparently, all you looked back was Lascelles going, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh." There was, as you right said, Martin. There was no Nobody went over to the referee to challenge. They just thought, "Oh, that's it. That's it." It was as though, right, our luck's gone for us today.
But it was the same on the third goal. Third goal went through. They played, or maybe it was the second goal with the pass from Barnes and the little flick through. Even when that happened, everything happened. The goal went in, and then Lascelles put his fucking hand up for offside.
Yeah.
Like, why were you not doing it? And he was so close to Shah. We had nobody on that left-hand side at all that was able to get into that player. And at that point, it looked like somebody had tied Shah and Lascelles' fucking laces together. They were that close to each other. So where that and to go back to the whole thing about Fernandez, and in fairness, Yano puts a point up there. The most balanced defensive pairing we've actually got is Fernandez and Clark, left foot, right foot, because you've got players that can play off either side. Fernandez is the only one really that leads that back four. And if you look at the game that he did play this season, when decisions weren't going our way, he was in the ref. He was at him. He was questioning. He was doing all of that. And at any time that first 40, 50, 60 yards on the pitch, I say it again, and I've said it all season and last, we've got no natural captain and real strong leader.
I completely agree.
And
we need to buy one.
Time and time again. It is, absolutely we need to buy one. But if you're the club captain, even if you know that's a stone wall, a penalty, fucking argue it. Yeah. You might not get nothing, but then again, you might just be enough to dissuade the dude sitting in a studio somewhere. I don't think to cast a bit of doubt.
I don't think you're going to convince the guy in the studio. No way. But I think what they probably thought there that okay, it'll go to VAR and it'll be the penalty won't go ahead. But yeah, show a bit of passion and show a bit of fight to try and get your speaking.
But argue the point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is though, because from what you're saying, then I agree with you. There was no fight or passion from Lascelles to query that and say, look, it wasn't a penalty. But I think after that, the whole performance from the team was exactly the same. There was no passion, no fight, nothing. It seemed as though that our captain leading the example on his response to that penalty call filtered off onto everybody else. And they just went, well, if he doesn't give a shit, we're not going to give a shit. And that's how it seemed to be the second half, because second half, seems to have, I don't know, I can't really find the words to describe how bad I was setting off. I said in our WhatsApp chat, I felt it was our worst performance this season, and I'll stick by that.
Yeah, it was. I think Julie makes a good point there. Probably one of the only players with a bit of passion, certainly in that second half, to question things and start wagging the finger was Joe Linton. He was the only one that was getting into the ref, and he was sticking the tackles in.
Lads, I think I'm going to switch it up a small bit because emotions are starting to increase here. So I'm going to calm it down a bit. Actually, first of all, I want to go back to Chris's comment. And Chris has a bit of trouble actually getting to the game today. And two fans offered to go pick him up and get him to the stadium. Shout out from Chris. I'm sure he'll mention it again when he's on the show. So cheers to the lads, to Tony and Gary. But I want to now go to the lads' reaction who were at the game. I did mention earlier that they had the last time we saw them, they were all excited and they had bought a dog or something like that. But this is where things take a turn for the worst at the end of the game.
I don't think we really wanted to do this, did we?
No, we really didn't want to do it.
Back at the Loaded Dog after a truly abysmal performance, second half performance, should I say, from Newcastle United. Started well, in my opinion, pressed them high, caused them problems. Evans went off, which I thought was a godsend to us, and we genuinely thought at that point that we're winning this game, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then just a stupid overplaying from John Joe Shelby, put Lascelles under pressure, concedes the penalty, and the game just changes after that. After that, I found it very, very difficult to get back in it. Second half, I was expecting something more, really disappointed with that. And what happened after that, I don't think I would have ever guessed for that second half performance. What do you think, Chris?
it was just the way we caved, wasn't it, more than anything?
Yeah.
We were talking about a few players in particular, saying that they weren't doing enough on the day. Maxi was a particular disappointment. Joe Willock, again, still not seeing anywhere near the Joe Willock that we saw at the back end of last season. So again, more worries there. But it was never a 4-0 game, was it, Peter? We were talking about that afterwards. Never a 4-0. Leicester, believe it or not, weren't particularly impressive, as I'm sure most of you saw at home. But on the day, we were really, really poor. And even the switch to the 3-5-2 later on in the game didn't really make much difference. I know we spoke about this previously, but I think it may be time to drop Maxi, because I would say he was the worst player on the pitch. And easily, I'll say easily, there was two outstanding players for Newcastle today, and that was Joe Linton and John Joe Shelby, yet again. For me, I'd give it to Joe Linton. I thought he ran his socks off, and he's really starting to find some form, but it's just a shame that the rest of the team aren't.
Yeah, I would agree. We talked about Maxi when Ryan Fraser and Jacob Murphy came on. I actually called for St Maximin to get taken off, subbed off. If he wasn't going to influence the game after 65 minutes, he wasn't going to influence it at all. And he was really, really poor today. Really lazy, off the ball, on the ball, again doing too much. So something has to give. Eddie Howe at some point has to say to St Maximin, if you're not going to put those performances in where you're pressing high, working hard off the ball, then you're not going to start a game. And I think what we need now going into Liverpool is industrial players that are going to run their socks off, press high, work off the ball, to stop Liverpool playing, and then maybe look to bring Maxi on at a later date in the game if we're still in it, to try and nick the game and add some sort of brilliance towards the end. But as a starter, I think his days are numbered, really, in my opinion, and I hope that Eddie Howe sees that as well. But definitely agree, Joe Linton. I would love to see in the chat, obviously you guys on the show in the chat, of how many times Joe Linton won the ball. How many times he won the ball back for our team? Because I must have counted sort of 8 or 9 at least. There probably was more. He was the only one pressing high, but you can't do it as one player. Wilson had nothing to go off. He was kind of on his own up front again. And it's a shame, because I genuinely thought we could get something from this game, but I think what we're going to have to do now is look at Man United at home. They've just gone down with COVID tonight, apparently. They've got loads of cases of COVID, I've just read. When they come to St James's, we're going to have to try and nick something from them. Everton away, Southampton away, we're going back to the drawing board. So, going to be interesting, but you guys enjoy the show. We'll catch you guys very soon. Hear from a loaded dog. Get in. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
In a bit.
Hey, there you go.
Very good.
And who said YouTube doesn't pay? The pub we bought, not a dog. I thought it was a dog.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks for those that have become members. We bought a pub, yeah. Although the loaded dog, to be fair, does look a bit rough.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
There we go.
Well done, Richie. It wasn't me this time. Here you go, back on. Yeah, good points from Pete and Chris. And they mentioned Joe Linton. Joe Linton was all over the place as well, and tackling and getting tackles and winning ball. But same as Miggy. Miggy put in that performance as well in the first half. Of course, then we how took him off because we need to freshen it up some way. And I know Jade said in the chat as well, why did he have to take off Miggy? But look, he had to try something to try and change it up. But okay, I'm gonna go.
I want to ask you just to follow on from what Pete said there about John Joe and Joe Linton being our two best players today. It's funny how those are two players that Eddie Howe has really bigged up since he's come in, and it seems to be that belief from the gaffer, as you know, it's their performances are reiterating that, if that makes sense. It just seems to be that, I think with ASM in particular, he's had that many pundits and other fans saying, "Oh, ASM this and ASM that. You're nothing without ASM and this." It's as though it's got to his head too much now, and he feels as though, he's not getting the run of the agreement. People will still be his best mate think he's the best player on the pitch and stuff like that. Do you reckon that's what's actually going on at this moment in time, lads?
I don't know. It's just, for me, it's one of those, Richie, like I'm waiting for the players just to step up. It's kind of like every game we keep saying, this time. And if it's come to the point where we're actually going, holy shit, Shelvey and Joelinton are the two best players we've got on the pitch, you're kind of looking at it and you're going, where'd everybody else go? Like, what happened? So I don't know, what seems to be happening. Like, from everything we're seeing, the training, the preparation, everything else. But when they physically get onto the pitch, it's just, it's like rabbits in headlights. So I don't, listen, Joelinton has deserved all the praise he's had over recent games. He's been the best player by a long way. Shelvey definitely, still sometimes plays the wrong ball. So I'll not say he's come on 100%, but he's definitely been more influential, which he has all the capabilities of doing. But, you look at today's match again between defence to midfield to the front, there was no connectivity between either of the departments.
Yeah. Yeah. So
apart from that, it was all right.
I think as well, just because when we did Loaded Mag on Friday, the five of us were on. Three of the five of us were expecting a win. Myself and Chris said a draw. I think we kind of probably expected too much from this game. The wrong players got COVID for us. I said it off in terms of
But
Leicester.
to be fair though, Daz, that wasn't a great Leicester team. Not as strong as it could have been.
No.
With some younger players in there. Listen, Tielemans is a quality player, right? Great ball player, great midfielder. Everything we need. Yeah. Madison, again, as I said, we called it on Friday. He's always has a blinding game against us. But again, we did the simple thing was what we kept giving stupid fouls away to him. So if he's going to do, and we knew from when we played them last time, he goes down like a sack of fucking spuds. Anytime he's touched anywhere near him, he goes down. The slightest of grazes or anything else, he goes down. So I would have thought a coach of Howe's standard would have been able to pull the players prior and go, listen, lads, don't do nothing stupid if he's coming at you. Back each other up, maybe get one either side of him, but tackle at the right time. We didn't do any of that. And once you allow a talent like that, let's not be stupid here. Madison is a talented player. And once you let him have the control, he will start to run a game for you. And that's what happened.
I took a tweet as well from Liam Kennedy, our friend Liam Kennedy, and he called it here that too many individual errors here in all of the four goals. We're gonna ship more goals in the next two games at least. I'd switch to a back five for the next two games. What do you think?
I think we'll see him switch to a five. I think it's a certainty for Liverpool. I think it'll be damage limitation.
Yeah.
I would take ASM out. I would bring Hayden in. I would be tempted to put Hayden in amongst that back five. I think if you put those three in, I'd be putting, well, certainly if he's not within that five, I'd have him sitting just in front of it. Shelvey will start. Wilson will start. But again, if it gets to 2-3-0, I'd be taking the likes of Wilson and players like that off and just protect them. And I just save them. There's no point. So I'd expect a back five for the next two games. Liverpool, depending if they get off to a flying start, Salah is on fire. Look, best player in the world at the moment. Liverpool, if we can maintain, they go goal up early, we're in big trouble. City, we get some decent results against City, but if they catch fire early on, and I would expect the likes of Foden and that to start for City, if we let the likes of Foden and Grealish, players like that start to get control, like we don't have the ability to compete with that kind of team in that midfield. So, I said to you guys, listen, we expect to get beat, but I just don't want a humiliation. I don't want 6-7-8-0 because it could be. And I take Richie's point. Yeah, I think maybe we could get something against Man United, but again, it depends on what Man United turn up. It depends where it is with COVID, and it depends how we turn up. We turned up, we took the lead at the last game, Man United at home, and we ended up getting beat 4-1. So look, let's see.
If I was something else pissed me off as well today, lads, and it was before the game. Martin, you wouldn't have seen this, so I've took the clip, and I don't care.
Was this actually from the build-up?
Yes, don't say it, Richie. But yeah, this is from the build-up. In the studio, you had Alan Pardew and Graham Souness, our two former managers.
Can you tell? All I'm going to say is, can you tell who the bitter one is?
Yeah, no, Richie. I was going to play this.
No, that's all I'm going to say.
Here's a strike.
Once you get that stadium, and I had it on a few occasions, when you get that stadium rocking, there's nothing like it. There's a feeling near the hairs stand on the back of your neck. It's just amazing. This place is like it. Travel to Liverpool. Well, of course. Proper football clubs. Let me tell you. That's a proper football club as well, Newcastle. Yeah. Come on. Well, I don't know you can see that. Trophy-wise.
Souness, you prick!
No, I know who that was in the background, and
maybe I was at work just before.
Do you know what? I thought that was a good impression of you by David Jones there, Daz, to be fair.
Okay, yeah, Souness. What is he at there? Like, he's still bitter. He's still bitter,
man, because he got the boot. Do you know what? And to be fair, he's a shite pundit as well. He was a dirty player in his day who, if
shit
that was nowadays, also a shit manager, same dickhead ran to the opponent's half and planted a Galatasaray flag at Fenerbahce. So that tells you all you need to know about Graham Souness. So, dickhead.
Daz, I couldn't believe what he was saying. To be fair, I can't because he's an absolute dick. But, it was nice to see Pardew actually stick up for the club, stick up for the fans and stuff like that, and actually said that what St James's Park can be like, he said, the hairs on his arms stood up and stuff like that, and the atmosphere, and okay, might not have been everyone's favourite, but at least he knew what the club and the fans were about.
I was going to say, do you know the difference, Richie? Is as much as Pardew was the man that he was, and he was Mike's appointment and everything else, he got the fans and he got the club, and he got it more than Steve Bruce did. So that says something for me. To be fair, he wasn't the worst we had. To be fair.
No, he wasn't. There's been plenty of times over recent years you'd have probably had him back.
Yeah, and Andy Myler deserved that headbutt, by the way, because he's also a prick.
And of course, we got a transfer fee for Alan Pardew, so we could have made a profit in him.
It's the only one that I think we would have got a profit for.
Okay, I want to get a shout out to our sponsor in Bronwyn and Black and White Army, the limited edition range, which is still available. I'll put the web address on the bottom there as well, so people can get it. Of course, you'll have some nice denim jackets for kids, and they have t-shirts and hats, and go check it out. And of course,
ship internationally, just for anybody asking. She did her first shipment out to Florida this weekend. So
she did, yeah.
If you are international mags like me and Daz, get on there. You can still get it, and she will ship internationally.
And another congratulations to Gary, who I know is in the chat. And Gary has won himself a hat in our draw for our members draw there on Friday night. And if you want to become a member, just hit that join button. You'll see it somewhere around there on your screen. Okay, another thing just to shout out is to anyone that hasn't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It is free. It is free, and it helps us grow. Lads, anything else you want to touch on before as we round off the show?
No, there wasn't many positives from the day, to be fair. Do you know what I
mean? The only positive was great videos from Chris and Pete.
Yeah, well done, lads.
Jody for life that's in the chat. Just to let you know, mate, his name's Pete. It's not Dave. That's just his handle. I know it's dead confusing. We were like that when we first met him.
2 or 3 months, I was calling Pete Dave.
I called him Dave for a while as well. But it's just his handle. But yeah, look, fair play to the boys. They've been to a few games now. Obviously, particularly hard for me and Daz because we don't live in country. So it's great to have them doing the videos and the snapshots and everything else and getting up and down and traveling. Absolute massive credit. not only to the two lads that were going to hook up Chris, but also the others that spun around at St James's this morning at 7 o'clock and helped other fans get down to Leicester after, unfortunately, the back page were let down by a couple of the coaches. So fair play to them. And like I said, the 3,500 that travelled, feel sorry, but best fans in the world by a long shot. And you know what? Good days will come. And, I've got faith in those owners. So let's just keep the faith and we go again.
Keep the faith. One last question, lads. For the next 3 games, how many points? I'm saying 3 against Man United.
I'd like to say 3 against Man United. I'd like to say 3. I've got a feeling it might be one at best.
Yeah, sorry to be the voice of doom and gloom, but I'm going 0, lads. I don't think we'll get anything from all 3. Sorry.
You could be right. We could all.
I just don't think we have it. I just think this. We did say it pre-season and earlier in the year. And a lot of people fired back at us, in particular me, and I said, I think the legacy of what we were left with, the damage that Bruce and Ashley done. I just think this season, I think it's a stretch too far for us, even with some good buys. And look, we were talking before coming on air, we could go and spend 160 million in January without breaching financial fair play. They've got to come in, they've got to gel, they've got to be the right fit. They've got to work with Eddie Howe and the rest of the players. If we get through these games and we don't get another 2-3 wins or start to pick up a run somewhere, then I think, unfortunately, lads, we could be heading down. And I said it before, I'm not overly. I don't want to go down, but I'm not worried either, even if we do. So look, let's just let it run. And if by chance we do get relegated and we go down, do you know what, lads? Get rid of the dead wood, rebuild, and let's move on from there. Hopefully we stay up, but if we don't, lads, we're still Newcastle United and we've still got the best fans in the world. So
there's only one problem with that. There's only one problem on half the squad we've got. Our championship players that probably do all right next year.
Yeah, well, no, I think there'll be a full clean out.
There needs to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thanks everyone
for
joining us, and we will be back during the week. I'm not sure. We might do a live line. We might do an away days. We definitely doing a load of Mag on Friday. But stay tuned. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll get the notifications. That's the best way. We don't know what we're doing next, and the only way to find out is by subscribing. What's we go to try to be mysterious. All right. Exactly. Thanks everyone. Just have to find me goodbye video, and off we go. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Take it easy, folks. Thanks for watching.
Good night.